Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Cup Council. How are we all? Hopefully, all of you having a fantastic Saturday, wherever you are around the world. And how are we? Hopefully, everyone is all good and all well. Of course, plenty of FA Cup action so far this weekend, which again has been very entertaining. But the Reds will be playing Plymouth tomorrow. I believe it's at 3 p.m. Kickoff time, of course, anyway. And look, is it going to be an easy game? Probably not. Knowing Liverpool and knowing the way how we function and how we like to entertain, it'll be one hell of an entertaining game anyway. But look, Liverpool, of course, going into it heavy favourites. Going away to Plymouth, which look Plymouth this season. You look at how they have done overall. Obviously, we all know. On their end, of course, sacking Wayne Rooney and being towards the bottom of the championship, actually being bottom of the championship. But to be fair, they have gained some points over the last couple of weeks, especially looking at their last couple of games. Again, obviously, to getting here, they've had to beat Premier League opposition in Brentford, and we've known how good Brentford have been, especially obviously playing them a couple of weeks ago, but still, getting a 1-0 win over them, which is huge for them. But even still, the last two games in particular, beating West Brom at home and getting a 2-2 draw away from home at Sunderland, that is huge for them as well. So again, it's not going to be an easy game tomorrow, but again, I do fully expect Liverpool to get through. But let me know, of course, your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know who all of you are, of course, in the comments down below. Big up Cal as well, saying hello. Leighton Orient robbed, yes. To be fair, Birmingham just been robbed. Obviously, was it Newcastle's second goal? I think it was. I don't think that was over the line. But look, supposedly, goal line technology is not a thing in League One. So look, at the end of the day, it's people call it the magic of the FA Cup. For me, I don't like it. I think look, I think every league now, or especially going down to League Two, I think goal line technology should be a thing now. But still, of course, that's a whole conversation for the EFL, and obviously they'll talk about investment and this, that, and the other. But look, that's just my opinion. Anyway, of course, but obviously no VAR. I don't think throughout the FA Cup. I might be wrong with that though. I do think maybe if it's two Premier League teams, they might have VAR if it's on TV. Because I think even Chelsea, I think play now, don't they? In an hour. I'm not sure who Chelsea got chat. Let me know. But I know definitely they play at 8 o'clock because I've seen in the fixture list. Let me double check. Oh, they got Brighton, so you probably expect there's VAR involved with that anyway. But speaking on Liverpool, and going back to Liverpool, I should say. Anyway, of course, obviously Plymouth tomorrow, obviously getting through against Spurs. That was the big task, wasn't it, in terms of course, getting through to the League Cup final, which of course, look, at the end of the day, another cup final for the Reds is it's very, very tasty, and considering the fact that, I think it's our ninth cup final in about 11 years. So look, at the end of the day, long may it continue. But I think for every Red, I think tomorrow, I think everyone expects rotation. I think Arne Slot, as I take the banner down, I think Arne Slot has been pretty open, hasn't he, in terms of the team will be rotated for tomorrow. I fully expect us to, have some sort of, again, game plan in terms of managing minutes and so on as well. I expect the likes of, Diogo Jota potentially even feature as well, just because of, again, gaining minutes, gaining confidence, again, because, look, there's been certain players that have been out injured for some time. Joe Gomez is another one of these players where he's most likely to be playing. I think where he's going to play, I think will be interesting. Obviously, with the news that Trent Alexander-Arnold isn't going to be played at all in the Plymouth game. Again, it'll be very interesting whether or not not Curtis Jones, whether or not Joe Gomez will be playing at right back or whether or not he'll be playing at centre back tomorrow. I think that's interesting. And I think that'll also highlight as well where Trent is potentially. Again, if we're going to be playing Conor Bradley at right back, that would probably suggest that Trent is available for Everton. But in also saying that, look, at the end of the day, we could potentially just see him play maybe 45 minutes and then get replaced then with Joe Gomez. But I fully expect Joe Gomez to play a hefty amount, considering, again, he's been away from the first team for about, 5 weeks now, is it? Since that West Ham game. So, look, at the end of the day, it'll be good to get him confidence. Diogo Jota's another one. Chiesa as well, get him involved in the game as well. I think that's going to be an interesting aspect for tomorrow as well. Of course, getting minutes in the legs, but also as well gaining confidence with the team as well anyway. But big up Damo as well, saying Leicester robbed against United last night too. Yes, they were. Offsides, which should I know people go on about the debate. Should VAR be involved in football and whether or not it should be, in games like this? I feel like if it's at a Premier League stadium, I think it should be involved. I don't know about if anyone else agrees with that. I think some people are refreshed about the idea of, once a goal goes in, it can be, unless the referee blows up for it, nothing's going to change. You don't have to think or worry about, are VAR going to turn it around to this, that, and the other. But you look at certain situations where, like for example, the Birmingham game against Newcastle. If Newcastle go on to win that game now, Birmingham will feel very hard done by because they've conceded a goal that, again, doesn't look like it's gone in. And obviously that you can probably go through other aspects of the weekend where you go, oh, maybe would VAR overturn that? Like, I know Manchester City supporters today were going on about the foul on Gonzalez, where, whether or not that was a foul in particular. Maybe in the Premier League does that get overturned? I don't think so, but I do think I think this weekend especially shows VAR is good for football. But again, it's kind of that like relief off of it where you're like, oh, we don't have to think about, the controversial topics of VAR and this, that, and the other. I think that's why it's so refreshing from people's memories as well. I don't know whether or not if I'm alone in that as well. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. But I do think it, especially when you've got no VAR there, I think that's a great example of why you need it. Realistically in, of course, games like we've seen over the weekend. But Damos has loads of good processes this weekend without VAR as well. Yeah, no, like that's the thing though, and I think people have the same sort of opinion. But yeah, good process, boys. Anyway, but hello lads, cold on today. Yeah, no, very cold today. To be fair, last night it was hammering down with snow where I was. It was great watching it come down, but then woke up this morning and it was like it was all gone, like if it was just a dream. But yeah, it has been cold as well. But like, obviously, hopefully everyone stays safe and so on as well. Because look, the weather, I think even next week is going to get we're going to have a cold turn again. So hopefully, like it won't be too bad anyway. And knowing, the way things go, we're also hoping as well the Merseyside derby doesn't get cancelled again, because I don't want that. I want to play our game in hand so we can hopefully be 9 points clear by the end of it. But look, at the end of the day, obviously you look at tomorrow's games as well, especially you've got Blackburn Wolves, very very good game. Aston, of course, Plymouth, Aston Villa against Tottenham. That's a huge game. I think for both teams, really, because again, obviously Villa will be going for Champions League. Obviously, our game against Villa has got rescheduled, so we will now play Villa, of course, the week that we play Manchester City. They will go and play Real Madrid away at the Bernabeu, which is huge for them. But also, we will play Villa as well midweek. So obviously, a lot of eyes will be on that. Obviously, City fans will be taking a look at it, and of course, obviously, Arsenal fans hoping that we drop points for them lot. Anyway, of course, but look, at the end of the day, I do think if we were to win the Merseyside derby on Wednesday, that I think would put a massive dent in Arsenal's challenge for the title, being 9 points ahead. And the way Liverpool are going at the minute, Liverpool I think can afford to then, I think, drop like so many points. Arsenal would have to go perfect from now until the end of the season, and they'd have to come away to Anfield and beat us. Which is that likely? No, I don't think it is. I think that's very unlikely that they come to Anfield and beat us. But look, at the end of the day, they're hoping and praying for a miracle for the title, at least anyway. But look, for us, it is just mainly staying focused, and the fact that we've got this game, for example, and like I said, in terms of players stepping up now, it's all about Queen. We know Kelleher's most likely going to start. Obviously, it's like the likes of Joe Gomez coming back, Joel Konza as well, also getting minutes you'd expect. Wataru Endo, but I think that the big ones is, of course, Ryu Nguma. Will he get another start in this team? I think potentially he might do. We'll talk about starting 11 predictions in a minute, but I think obviously we'll have a few players on the bench, senior players, for example. But I wouldn't be too surprised if we did kind of bring the team like we did in the Champions League against PSV, where it's not going to be, obviously we're not going to go full on youth, but we're not going to again risk. I don't think anyway. I don't think we're going to risk certain players. Like we won't see Allison, we won't see Van Dijk. I don't think. Excuse me. We might see Mo Salah potentially, but again, that's depending on what Arne Slot is after realistically. But I think it is interesting to see what Arne Slot will do tomorrow afternoon, of course, against Plymouth. But Hero says looking for a long coat. It's got so cold like Canada goes, but cheaper. Canada Goose, but cheaper as well. I could probably advise an Arsene Wenger Arsenal jacket, the Hero. That might be good. Anyway, I think Liverpool sold. Was it last season or 2 seasons ago? The Liverpool started selling them, and they didn't sell that great. I remember being at the club shop. It must have been last season, and the club shop had them, and the rack was just completely full. I was like, yeah, there's no surprise nobody is buying this. But I could be surprised. Some people could have bought it. I don't know who they are, but they could have done anyway. But Cal says City got 2 legs, a 2-legger against Madrid in 4 days. Yep, they're going out heavy like that. 10-2 with Bayern and Arsenal. I don't think it's going to be that bad. I do think they will lose. I do think they will get battered, but I don't think they're going to get destroyed. And I say this, mind, they struggled when Leyton Orient today were on the counter against them. I think Leyton Orient were a bit unlucky, to be fair, earlier. But in also saying that, there's me saying oh yeah, they'll be okay. You do kind of forget that they do have Vinicius Junior, they do have Kylian Mbappe. You've got Jude Bellingham in there as well. Their midfield is great. And yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised if it was something like a 10-2, but I just don't expect it. Because I do think City will, I don't know, be better in the Champions League. But then I also say that, mind, they've had a proper stinker of a season. But look, at the end of the day, I don't know. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I think, but by far, it's the best game of the knockouts, or this, obviously playoff round anyway. But look, you could have easily got Real Madrid, Bayern Munich. I think Man City would have preferred that. Of course, they would have loved to have played Celtic, but look, they don't get to play Celtic. That's Bayern Munich's job anyway. But look, it'll be interesting anyway. But I do think by the time we play Manchester City, you look at our next couple of games coming up. I'm going to quickly have a look at our next couple of games because I will completely mess up the order. But yeah, looking at it now, Plymouth tomorrow, Everton away, then of course on Wednesday, Wolves at home, and then Manchester City, and then Newcastle. Realistically, we need, what I think, is it 12 wins we need to win the league? If we were to beat Everton midweek and then beat Wolves, can you afford to go to Manchester City and get a draw? Over the last couple of seasons, we've got a draw, and we've kind of been disappointed by it. Would we be happy with a draw? I personally wouldn't be, because I think we can go to Man City this year and beat them. The fact that we've not beat them in the league, I don't think at the Etihad since, I think, Jurgen Klopp's first game there. Obviously, we beat them in the Champions League. But I think in the league, I don't think we've gone there and beat them since then. If my memory serves me correct, like we've gone there a couple of times and been battered. Um, Obviously, a couple of seasons where like you look at Sadio Mane's red card, we I think we lost that game 5-0. The league where we had no centre mids fit or no centre mids that could play the way we wanted to play. I think did we get beat 4-1 in that game or 3-1 in the end? It's kind of good the games that we erase from the memory. But yeah, look, I think if we were to beat Everton, Wolves, and City, I think then we can start to feel very confident for the title. But look, we have to win those games, of course. Of course, starting with Plymouth, um, of course, tomorrow. But look, it's an exciting period anyway. But look, I think Liverpool only need 12 wins left from the season. But look, that will be an interesting one. Oh yeah, we do play Villa. Yeah, this is me going on about Villa. Cal, you're right. So if we were to beat Everton, Wolves, and then Villa, that would be, that would be good going for the title. I'd love that. To be fair as well, but Villa away is going to be huge. Anyway, but Cal's predicted team is Callagher, Mabea, Konza, Endo, Simicas, Trainioni, McConnell, Elliott, Rio Nguma, Jota, and Chiesa. So Endo in centre back. Sorry. So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see that anyway. But Damo says King Kenny didn't think much of Arsene Wenger on the touchline in his duvet coat. Anyway, no, he didn't. To be fair, but look, I think it's interesting, isn't it? Where like even when you look at Arsenal and you look at what they've done since Wenger, I don't think that gets credited enough for what he did at Arsenal. Like when you think of the latter years of Arsene Wenger, all right, it wasn't the greatest, but Arsenal played entertaining football. They did. They was the entertaining team. Similar like how Spurs are now. How Spurs are entertaining throughout the season. They just are, but they'd never go on to win things. All right, they may have grabbed an FA Cup here and there, but you'd never consider them for the title. Then I say that, or never consider them for the Champions League. But I think what Wenger did for a consistent number of years in getting Arsenal top four and getting them Champions League football, I think goes very much under the radar for what he achieved in that time. But similar like Jurgen Klopp, like all right, Liverpool had bad seasons. Like you look at that the season after we won the league, so what was it, 2021, where we had no centre backs fit and available, and somehow he decided one day, oh yeah, we're going to go Nat Phillips and Reece Williams, move Fabinho back to centre, to his natural position, and then we're going to go from there. And we end up winning, I think, was it 12 out of our last 13 games, which again is outrageous. The last 10 games of the season, especially, the Allison goal as well, like that will be in the memory for a lifetime. And I think everyone will remember that little period. I don't think anybody remembers, of course, us losing 7 times in a row at Anfield and other bits and pieces where you go, like I still have nightmares of Jordan Henderson and Ozan Kabak at centre back against Leicester away from home, where we played good for 60 minutes, scored the goal, and then just fell apart, which was just the story of Liverpool in that season anyway. And then, of course, the following season, we almost won a quadruple. So, look, it could be miles better anyway. But again, let me know your starting line predictions anyway in the chat down below, of course. For me, I think this man starts in particular. I think Rio Nguma, obviously being named in the Champions League squad as well, that's also huge for him, which again, maybe he might see some experience potentially, of course, obviously depending on who we're playing. Obviously we could end up playing we could end up having PSG in the next round of the Champions League, which wouldn't be ideal considering we won the frigging group. But look, at the end of the day, I think Liverpool can beat every single team in Europe this season, in particular. But I think for me, my team for tomorrow, I'd go Kelleher in goal. I'd go Conor Bradley at right back. I'd go Joe Gomez alongside Joel Konza, and Costas at left back. I think then in midfield we go Wataru Endo, um, James McConnell, and Harvey Elliott. I think that's my front middle three. And in the front three, I'd go Chiesa, Diogo Jota, and Rio Nguma. That would be my team. So it'd be Kelleher, Bradley, Konza, Gomez, Simicas. We go Endo, McConnell, Elliott, Chiesa, Jota, and Rio Nguma. That'll be my team for tomorrow. I think it's strong enough that we can be all right with, but also I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw Joe Gomez at right back, Endo at centre back, and then McConnell and Rio and Trainioni in the centre mid positions, because I think Trainioni definitely in a double pivot with McConnell makes sense, and I also think depending on if Conor Bradley starts, that is a good sign for Trent. I think for Wednesday. If he doesn't start a right back, then that's probably then an inkling of where Trent is. Maybe he might be on the bench for Wednesday. But as of things right now, you would probably think if he wasn't to start Conor Bradley, then Trent's definitely going to be out for Wednesday, or minimum, like I said, on the bench anyway. But Hero says good luck getting this lineup right. It's probably wrong. Watch Arne Slot now put a full team out tomorrow. He's talked about rotation in the press conference yesterday, and just 100% just gonna end up just changing everything and going, bugger, I'm gonna go full strength, and then we'll go full strength again against Everton. And go weak next week anyway. But no, look, I do think it'll be a tough game tomorrow. 100% it will be. Look, they are a very tough team. Going away as well, it is another huge factor into it. They've not been, like I said, they're a decent team, but with the FA Cup as well added into it, it's going to make it a hostile environment. Similar with Man City today against Leyton Orient as well. Leyton Orient not being great this season, but again, they looked really good against Manchester City. So I don't know whether or not if that you could put that on Leyton Orient or whether or not you could put it on Man City. But we all know Liverpool like to entertain the people. So look, maybe Liverpool might give us all the heart attacks and then end up winning the game anyway. But I am going to go 3-1 Liverpool. For me, I do think we will end up conceding just one, because we all know we do end up conceding some sort of goal anyway. But for me, I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. I'm going to go Chiesa getting a goal. I'll go with Harvey Elliott and Diogo Jota getting the goals for the Reds anyway. But again, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, obviously, Plymouth under Wayne Rooney, I'd say probably about 9-0. But obviously, since they got their new manager in, I do think they have become a lot better defensively. Again, looking at it now, again, getting results against Sunderland and Plymouth. Sunderland, West Brom, sorry. Like, again, that's two really good games. But then if you look a bit further back, again, they've conceded 5 goals against Burnley. So they do get the odd goal in that. Obviously, they do play a 3-back as well, which might, the last 3-back that we played against, we kind of struggled in Man United, but of course that's two different things comparing it. But even still, we probably do expect some sort of a decent result anyway tomorrow against Plymouth anyway. But Demo says Newcastle just scored in the 83rd minute. Howard Webb should be keeping a low profile after this weekend of officiating howlers. Was it bad, Damo? I've just seen they went 3-2 up as well. So yeah, looking at that goal that should never have been, probably it's now cost probably Birmingham a fifth round spot, I should say, in the FA Cup. But Cam's got 3-0 Liverpool, Chiesa, Jota, and Elliott. Same as me as for the goal scorers. Anyway, but I do think it will be around that. Again, whether or not we will concede a goal or not, again, Liverpool, we all know the 1 or 2 opportunities that other teams get, we just concede from, which again, so far this season, in terms of defensively, we've got the best defense in the league, but it's always that frustrating thing where we look so good defensively, and then all of a sudden, then we just concede. Like similar, it's a similar thing, against Shrewsbury, for example. We've done it this season, against Leicester. We ended up conceding just late on as well. So it's games like that where you look at it and you go, surely surely we're going to get a clean sheet, and then we end up don't caring it. So look, if it means a Liverpool 3-0 up and then we concede a goal, again, as long as Liverpool get through to the next round of the FA Cup, that's all I care about, at least anyway. But I'm going to leave it there for tonight, guys. Big thank you for everyone for tuning in to tonight's show. I will say Monday we got I don't know whether or not if we're going to do a show on it, but it's definitely going to be an episode on Monday. We're going to talk about Xavi Simons. Of course, there's the thumbnail for you guys, so you guys can look at that. But we're going to be talking about Xavi Simons being linked to Liverpool all of a sudden again, which, again, don't know really why, but we're going to be talking about it on Monday. Anyway, of course, tomorrow will be the post-match after the game, so expect us to be live for probably around 5, half 5, somewhere around there. We'll be live tomorrow straight after the game. So again, make sure you've got your notifications on. Make sure you do hit the like button and the subscribe button as well. But big up Damo as well. Big up Cal. Big up Hero as well. Big up to everyone in the chat. Remember Klopp starting Van Dijk and Canate against Shrewsbury. Yeah. Remember, was it back a couple of years ago against Shrewsbury, where I think we had, did we have like an important game midweek? And then we ended up playing like half like decent team, like Salah. We ended up playing Salah against Shrewsbury, and we ended up drawing 2-2. I think that was in like the back end of January. I think it was when we were on kind of our dip. And then like Liverpool were a bit poor. It was definitely in between the Atletico Madrid game, I think, or just before the Atletico Madrid game, and we were awful. And we ended up playing like a pull back line, then a really good forward line, and we just didn't score. That's just the mad lineups, isn't it, with the FA Cup anyway? But no, look, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Of course, your score predictions, your starting line predictions. Do let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. Of course, down below as well. Like I said, a 3-1 win for me for tomorrow, but any win will do, of course, for the Reds tomorrow. But obviously the main one as well, no injuries, is the big one, at least anyway. But like I said, if you're new around here, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow for the post-match reaction. But I've been Connor from the Cup Council. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Ta-ra.